For every excuse, God has an expectation based on his power. Grace and peace, everybody. Welcome to Sabbath School Study Group. My name is Chris Bailey. 4 excuses. When we look at the story of Moses, there's a transition that happens when God's calling him there at the bush. The whole chapter 3 is really, God laying down who he is and showing us his heart. But Moses has so many excuses. It goes into the next chapter. Chapter 4 begins with his disbelief. So let's pick it up here to see how God responds to his excuses. See here in verse number 10, Moses said to the Lord, "Oh, my Lord." Has that ever been us? Has that ever been you? "Oh, my Lord, I'm not eloquent, neither heretofore, nor since thou hast spoken unto thy servant. But I am slow of speech and of a slow tongue." So here's a principle, right? Here is an excuse. Now here's the thing. Moses was not telling a mistruth. He was not bearing false witness. He wasn't the smoothest talking guy. He did have an issue, but notice God's response. What Moses is looking at as a liability, God is saying this is that back burner effect. Remember we talked about how he was on the backside of the desert? He was taking someone who's on the backside of the desert and who just so happened to not be a good speaker to show just how far he can reach to bring us to God's desire, to bring us to God's call. But when Moses gives an excuse, what does the Lord do? The Lord said unto him, "Who hath made man's mouth? Or who maketh the dumb, or deaf, or the seeing, or the blind? Have not I, the Lord?" Moses' excuse is met by God's expectation, and God points to himself as creator. Remember, he's the I am. So while Moses is stuck in, it is what it is, I can't talk, God says, who made the folks who can't talk? Who made the ears? Who made the nose? Who made the mouth? Who made everything that you're saying you don't have? Don't you think I'm able to give that which I have even already created? When we look at God's response to our excuses, he doesn't even focus on Moses. He's looking where Moses should be looking and where we should be looking. That's at himself, the power of God. It's why when you go to verse 12, he says, "Go." He says, "Now therefore go." That therefore is not based on verse 10, Moses' excuses. The therefore is based on verse 11, God's expectations, because God knows who he is. "Now therefore go. I will be with thy mouth and teach thee what thou shalt say." This is an extended way of God saying, I will be what you need me to be. If you don't have a mouth, I will be a mouth. If you don't have enough money, I will be the money. If you don't have enough motivation, I will be the motivation. If you don't know the method, I will give you the method. But what was Moses' responsibility? Moses had to do the going. We got to get going. If we're willing to go, I'm so glad that God will finish that go and put a D on it. God will take your go and it will be God who does the doing. It will be him who speaks, moves, whatever the case might be, but let it be God. So let's get going.